today, so not make a noise.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to Home Groups, where we apply the message we heard on Sunday at Freedom Valley.
Yeah, and this weekend, we were in the third week of our Set Apart sermon series. This entire series comes to us out of Deuteronomy 14:2. You have been set apart as holy to the Lord your God, and he has chosen you from all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure. We were called by God to be different than the world we're in. We're set apart with a purpose and a plan, and each and every one of us has a specific call from God, and that's what we want to focus on today.
Yeah, Pastor Jerry preached on Sunday about how we change the way we think as Christians, as followers of Christ. We should behave, think, act differently than those around us in a few specific ways. And one of my favorite parts come out of the passage he read in Romans 12. Just going down a little bit, it says, "Don't think you are better than you really are. Be honest in your evaluation of yourselves, measuring yourselves by the faith God has given us. Just as our bodies have many parts and each part has a special function, so it is with Christ's body. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other." A key part of being set apart is knowing how to evaluate whether or not you're doing this Christian thing right. But it's really hard to just look at your life and be like, I guess I'm doing that okay. Like, life seems good. But I think this passage kind of gives us the key as to how to do that, which is to focus on your purpose. You had a funny quote from Einstein.
Yeah, you know, Einstein said, if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, he'll spend his life thinking he's a moron or a fool or an idiot. Yeah. And that idea is, if I spend my life trying to live up to what Luke is called to do, or what another pastor is called to do, or another individual is called to do, I'll never measure up. Because God did not create me to be like you.
Right.
He has made me to be, and this is another quote from a pastor named Robert Madu, he has made me to be like Jesus and like no one else who has ever lived.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't be like me if you tried. So
I just can't. I'm not tall enough. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. I can't reach that top shelf. I need to be like me. Jesus created me. God created me to be the best Jason that I can be, and to be more like Jesus every day. So the standard that we have to evaluate ourselves by is pretty simple. It's Jesus Christ and the Jesus that's revealed to us through the scriptures. Yeah. And then who he has called us to be second.
Right. I mean, and Jesus knew who he was called to be.
That's right.
He said all throughout his ministry time that he was here because the Father sent him. Mm-hmm. He was here to do what his Father had sent him to do. And he said a bunch of times the different things that he was specifically called to do, and he did just those. If any of us tried to do the exact things Jesus did, we would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
If we tried to preach the Sermon on the Mount and tell people that we were God, bad idea.
Yeah.
But if we go about doing what Jesus did, which is living according to the purpose that God has set before us, then we're truly following his example.
Yeah, we're called to be like Jesus, not Jesus. You know, Jesus was the only one that could die for our sins, but we're supposed to live like him and follow the call God has for us.
Right.
Jesus said that the Son of Man came to seek and save that which was lost. That was his mission. That was his plan. That was his call. What is your call, your mission, your plan?
And what we want you guys to get the chance to talk through tonight is, how do you evaluate what your purpose is, and once you get there, how do you evaluate whether or not you're doing it well? Yeah. And I think that's really best done in a group.
Yeah, a group environment lends itself to that if you have relationship closely with those around you. You know, sometimes we can evaluate ourselves and say, you know, I think I'm a great singer. Another thing that was learned recently by our church is I'm not a great singer.
Karaoke proved a lot of us wrong.
So we need others to step in and say, hey, you know what? I think you're great at this, and encourage us to follow those giftings, and we can do that in group and in genuine relationship.
You're good at making being horrible fun, though.
That's my gift.
That's your gift.
And I know that, so I'm called to help make church fun. What are you called to do? Let's talk about that in our groups. Let's encourage each other to create plans and have ideas and carve out our vision for what God has called us to do.
Yeah, maybe you can see something in each other that we can't see in ourselves. That because you know each other well, you can point out the strengths in another person. Yeah. Anyway, with all that said, I hope you have a great conversation tonight.
See you next week.